Class is in memory of Jared Orchin. Today I want to speak to you about reincarnation. Why? Because it's the Parsha of this week. Kind of. It's the Zohar and the Parsha. But you know, many times, especially us, as we're getting older, we see some young people become so successful and so rich, and we get a little depressed. They become down, like Mark Zuckerberg, for example. And you ask yourself, you say to yourself, I'm much smarter than this. And look what he did. I'm working so hard, I went to college, I'm a PhD in this and in Jens, and Grudish, and this little boy is making billions. What's going on here? And many people get depressed, as sometimes people tell me who are accountants. To count the other people's money is not so exciting. You sit to yourself and you count the other guy and you say, I'm much smarter than them, and look what he's doing, I'm sitting here counting his money. It's very depressing. Then the question is, how is it happening that some people who are so young and so successful, unbelievably successful, like mind-boggling? The same thing we see about Jewish phenomena. Young Jews come back to Judaism. The parents, 3 generations, 4 generations were far away from Judaism, and the children, the grandchildren, suddenly come back to Judaism. And the parents look at them and says, what you found there that I didn't see? I went to yeshiva, or I didn't like it, and you know nothing. Why do you get so excited? And even more than that, comes a guy who becomes religious, he comes to a shul of all Hasidic Jews, and they see that he has some excitement they don't have. He's loving Hashem, and they say, no, I'm already 50 years in the business, and I don't love Hashem like you. I'm missing something. What do you know that I don't? And many people, on one hand, they get inspired by these guys who come all excited and join the community. On the other hand, they feel belittled. It puts them down that they learn so much Torah. And the Zohar is based on the Parsha of the week. It's a commentary to the Parsha. The Zohar and the Parshat Mishpatim, the Parsha of this week, says, Rabbi Shimon opened and said, this Parsha is the Parsha of the reincarnations, the concept of reincarnation. And he continues, my friend, it's the time to give out the secrets, some of the secrets of reincarnation. What is reincarnation? A person goes up to heaven. Right? Before he died, he wasn't alive. Mr. A borrowed money from Mr. B. And he died before he had a chance to give the money back. He comes to heaven. He says, I wish I wouldn't give money back, but I died. He died. He didn't have a chance. That God has Rachmanes on him and sent him back to the world. And maybe even the other guy died too. Sent him back to the world. And somehow in the next life, Mr. A loses his wallet and Mr. B will find it. And that's why he will give him the money back. Then reincarnation, the whole concept of reincarnation is to having a second chance and a third chance. Fixing things that in the past life you did not have a chance to fix it. That's what reincarnation is all about. There is a story about that, in the Talmud, about Rabbi Lozo ben Dodaya. He was a man that he was running around after women. And he was with every prostitute in the world. Once he was in general not a big tzaddik, obviously. And he later and then one day he was with a very important prostitute, very chosheva, and she told them like this. She told them, you, Elazar ben Dodaya, you have no chance. You're doomed. Somehow, for some reason, this word from Elazar ben Dodaya, from this prostitute, entered his mind, and he didn't let him relax. He said, even she thinks that I have no chance to come back to God. I'm doomed. And he went and he cried. In the beginning, he tried to blame this problem and the other problem, and it's this fault, and that's people's fault, and that's people's fault. Finally, the Medrash describes it. He says, "Heaven and earth ask for me, ask mercy for me. The tree should ask mercy." Basically, he tried to find anybody else to help him. Finally, he realized that it's only his fault and his responsibility. He put his head between his knees, and he cried so much until he died. When he died, came out a voice from heaven and said, "Rabbi Elazar ben Dordaya is invited to the world to come. He's going to heaven." At that time, he was alive in the time of Rabbi. Rabbi was Rabbi Yehuda the Prince. He was the man who put together the Mishnah, wrote the Mishnah, the author of the Mishnah. The beginning of the first person who started to write down the oral commentary, the tradition, the old tradition. Was a very great leader of the Jewish people. He cried and he said, "Some people have to work very hard, and they're called a rabbi. They have to go to yeshiva to get tested and to work so hard. And one person can become a rabbi in 1 minute, in 1 hour." And he was like a little disappointed. I work so hard, and this guy made it like this to heaven. And the question is, what do you mean he makes it to heaven? What means to go to heaven? Go to heaven means to benefit from the good deeds that you do in this world. If he didn't do anything good, what exactly is he going to benefit from? What is there for him? What is waiting for him? Here comes Kabbalah, the Arizal. The Arizal lived 500 years ago. And there is a book, it's called Sefer HaGilgulim, from his disciple who wrote what he said. The book of the Reincarnation. He writes, Elazar ben Dordaya was a reincarnation. Of whom? Of Yochanan Kohen Gadol. Was a high priest who lived in the time of the Second Temple. We say in Chanukah, we say in the prayer, you know the prayer, Beimei Matityahu ben Yochanan Kohen Gadol, right? In the days of Matityahu, the son of Yochanan, that's the son of Yochanan Kohen Gadol, was a high priest. He was 80 years serving in the temple. It means 80 years serving in the temple means every year he entered the Holy of Holies and he came out alive. It means he was really righteous, very righteous. And because if you were not righteous, if you went into the Holy of Holies, a Kohen who was not righteous, a high priest, he had to be pulled out, or he didn't make it until next year, that's for sure. This guy was 80 years a righteous man. And then by the end of his life, he became a Sadducee. Sadducee is a movement of Jewish people, Jews who denied the belief of afterlife. They said there is no afterlife. Whatever it's here, and that's it. When Yochanan Kohen Gadol died, 8 years of good deeds. He created a whole heaven. But he did not have the key to enter heaven. Because before he died, he denied all concept of heaven. You cannot benefit from something that you don't believe in. It's almost like now America is picking up every citizen from China, or from the sheep, from this, everybody who did the coronavirus. What if somebody says, every American citizen, somebody took his passport, threw up this American citizenship, I don't want to be an American. America cannot help him. If you don't believe in afterlife, you cannot benefit from afterlife. It's an interesting law about Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur has a power to the essence of Yom Kippur can atone for everybody's sin, for a person's sin. But if there is somebody who doesn't believe in Yom Kippur cannot help him. If he says, Yom Kippur is a problem, I say, it doesn't help. It's all a made-up story. There's no Yom Kippur, it's a joke. Yom Kippur cannot help. Yochanan Kohen Gadol did not believe in afterlife, that he couldn't benefit from his heaven. He came back to the world as Elazar ben Dordaya. Now he didn't do anything good. But before he died, he did tshuva. He got the key for the afterlife of his past life. For the heaven that he had waiting for him from the generation before. That reincarnation, that's what reincarnation is doing. You benefit from your past life too, not just from this life. What is this has to do with everyone? When you see a young person who is very successful, be he's not the first time here. He's the third time. He's not 20. He's 97. When we see it in the Agada of Passover, we see it about Elazar ben Azariah they appointed a young rabbi to be the rabbi. He was 18 years old. And he went to ask his wife, and his wife told him, don't do it, and he still accepted it. And he said in the Agada, we say, I am today like a 70-year-old man. Why choose 70? Why not 57? Why not 67? Why 75? Then again, Kabbalah comes and tells us that he was the reincarnation of Samuel the prophet. Samuel died by the age of 52. And he was 18. He said, I'm like a 70-year-old man. What he wanted to say, don't look at me like I'm an 18-year-old boy. I'm 70. I cash on the past life. That's what I. Then this is what happens in today when you see a young person very successful. Maybe in his past life he saved the community from annihilation. You don't know what he did in his past life. He never got reward for it. Or he's so smart because in his past life, in his 3 lives he worked before he built and he did so many things. And now it's in a subconscious way he has this knowledge and has this instinct to do the right thing. And that explains why in our generation people come back to Judaism. Because could be in their past life they did something good, or they come from, or they were in a religious world, or whatever it was. And that's why they're coming back to connect to their source. They're coming home to where they really were all the time.